gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up.
Hey guys, this is Jake here with another episode of the Unqualified MMA podcast with a special guest, Curtis Blaydes. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Yeah, so, just to start off, you're the number 3 ranked heavyweight in the world. Scariest man in the division to me, honestly. Like, I'm a striker, and I'm not trying to get wrestled and destroyed. And, what you do to people doesn't look fun. Destroyed Alistair Overeem, knocked out Junior Dos Santos. I mean, that's just impressive. That resume alone is that's pretty nice. Those are 2 guys that are both great strikers, and you knocked out Junior Dos Santos. So thanks for coming on, man. It's great. So if you want, let's get into your background a little bit. How'd you get into MMA? I know you're a great college wrestler. But what made you want to go fight in a cage?
I went to Northern Illinois for 1 year after I won the heavyweight state title my senior year. I got a scholarship to Northern, and then I messed up my grades and ended up losing my scholarship and ended up going to a JUCO college in Illinois. I was there for 2 years. My second year, I won nationals, and that was in 2012. And originally, the plan was to go to an NAIA school in the fall, but I didn't get my transcripts in the proper time, so I missed that registration period. So I needed something to do in order to. So my plan was to re-enroll in the spring semester and just continue wrestling and get my education. But a buddy of mine from high school, I had previously wrestled with. He was a couple years younger than me, but I had known him from wrestling. He had already been in MMA like his whole life. His father was a boxing coach. He'd always been into jiu-jitsu, and he just kept bugging me like for months after I won JUCO Nationals. And then eventually I just went to the gym, went to his boxing gym with him and his dad. I was there that was in August of 2012. I was there for about a month, and we were just doing the basics, just like jab, cross, low kick, jab, cross, low kick. And then this dude walks in there. He's like a light heavyweight. He was a pretty good guy. I forget his name. He was like a decade older than me, and I never really got his name. But he went in there, we sparred, and I did all right against him. And then Angelo's dad was like, "Yo, we can get you an amateur fight." And the only reason I did it was because they explained to me, because I didn't know a whole lot about MMA at that time, but they explained to me that I could use my wrestling. I was like, okay, I'll just wrestle guys. And I took my first amateur fight about a month after I started doing boxing, and I won it pretty easily. And originally my plan was just to keep doing it until I lost, but I won all my amateur fights. I turned pro in 2014 in May, and I won that one, and I won my first 5 pro fights on the regional level. I won my RFA debut. Then I got the call to the UFC like a couple weeks later.
Yeah, I mean, you've had work rise, and I've been talking about this for a long time with a lot of fighters. Like I was a wrestler throughout high school, and my whole thing is that wrestling is a much harder sport than fighting is.
Yeah.
And I think physically it's so much harder. I mean, would you agree with that? Like,
I think there's different aspects of like, how do you mean by hard? Because like I think the conditioning for wrestling is a lot harder. Just you're constantly grappling, constantly in like there's no break in wrestling. In a fight, there's those like lulls where you can like and you can get space. In wrestling, there's no space. There's a guy constantly on you. But then again, in fighting, there's no pain, like getting hit in the face. That's pretty hard also. So
Oh yeah.
they both have the merits, but they go well together. Wrestling goes well with MMA.
Oh, for sure. You know, and my whole thing, like whenever I'm in hard, like, just physically taxing, you know, no one enjoys getting punched. I mean, unless Diego Sanchez. But, you know, there's a few guys that the idea of having, you know, hell, even you on top of me, that sounds like a rough day. And, like, you know, the elbows that you caught Alistair Overeem with, like, I definitely wouldn't want to get hit by any of them.
Elbow sucks.
Oh, yeah. And so one of the things that I was actually watching in your fight with Junior, your jab looked awesome in that fight. And, you know, I think I come from a boxing background. That's where I am as a fighter. So whenever I see a guy who's using his jab properly and, like, using it and you can actually snap someone's head back, like, that looked good. And to see, like, a heavyweight who kind of that division, it seems like they almost ignore the jab. To see a heavyweight, you know, when people think, like, you know, where you were even like 3 years ago in terms of striking to where you're at now, like, that's insane. You're no longer just a wrestler, you're an MMA fighter. And, you know, the jab was gorgeous, just the boxing. Like, I thought if you were going to finish him I thought if you were going to finish Junior, it was going to be ground and pound. I mean,
me too. I thought that too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. And to knock him out on the feet, that was amazing. Like, I was immediately, all right, this guy's world championship material to knock out a guy who is trying to put your head into the bleachers every time he throws. That was amazing, man. Like, super impressive. Yeah, I mean, what's it like to be in there with an Alistair Overeem, a Junior Dos Santos, some of those? Because, I mean, they're known for their striking and their boxing. And, I mean, you're obviously got to be confident in your hands now. Like, there's no way you can't be.
I mean, yeah, it's a weird feeling initially when you see these guys that you've been able to watch them, hear about them, just all their careers for the last, I don't know, decade. It's a little weird, but then once you do the walkout, you're in the cage. They're just a guy.
Exactly.
They're a guy who's trying to hurt me, and I have to hurt them before they hurt me, and that's really what it boils down to. And at the same time, I do respect their skills. I do respect their accomplishments, but I know that they're just a little older. It's not their time anymore, and I know that me at my best beats those guys at their best.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, like, a fight that I'm really bummed that I don't think we're going to get to see is you and Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, we've already discussed that. Me and DC at my last fight, he already told me he only wants to do the Stipe. Well, I guess he's open to fighting in Ghana, but at that time he had told me he only wanted to fight Stipe and then retire. And I was like, that's fine with me. I just want there to be some movement.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, it seems like right now, I mean, the heavyweight division's kind of, like, stalled out with, like, the top, like, you know, you, Francis, Stipe, and DC. It's kind of stalled out, and to see these fights happen.
The stagnation is driving me crazy.
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, I can't imagine, because it's not like you want to take a fight with, you know, like, a guy lower than you and potentially, like, you know, even lose it, like, a BS decision. Like, you know, and it's rough. I mean, because you're just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's either, like, take a fight against a lower ranked guy or wait.
Yeah, those are the only options. That's why I took the Volkov fight, just because I needed. You gotta keep collecting paychecks. I'm trying to burn through this contract. I signed an 8-fight contract after I beat Mark Hunt. This will be number 6 out of 8. I'm hoping after this one I can renegotiate a new contract.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. And honestly, like, the fight, if I were to pick a terrible opponent for Alexander Volkov, like you'd be it. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's how I feel. Like he's long. He likes to use his lead leg. Makes it easier to grab. He's not the best grappler. I watched his Verdun. Like, even though he did win that, Verdun was able to take him down pretty easily. 2 or 3 times. He wasn't able to hold him down. That's because he uses the more jiu-jitsu, like he likes to float. My pressure on the ground is more wrestling, just heavy hips and looking to get position, just beat you up.
oh, absolutely. I mean, and honestly, after seeing the way Verdum fought in his last fight,
Oh my God, that was terrible.
That was, when he walked out, I was like, all right, the dad bod is in full effect. He didn't look like a guy.
He just looked really, really, really slow. And I fought Olenek a couple years ago, and he was old. He was old back then, so he's even older. But he somehow looked a little better than when I have fought him. He looked more aggressive, the striking, even though he's throwing unorthodox and ugly stuff. It's landing, and when it's landing, he just starts pouring it on. It's effective, at least against the Verdun.
I mean, Olenek coming in the lightest I've seen him in a long, long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was like, what, 225? He might drop down to like heavyweight. Looks like he's going that way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I don't know many heavyweights that are sitting around 220, 225.
That's not even like, I know there are some guys who are like halfway heavyweight, halfway light heavyweight. Once you get to 225, you're pretty much a light heavyweight to me.
Well, and I mean, like guys like John Jones are cutting down from 230.
Yeah, so I'm like, you're pretty much a light heavyweight.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, there's a guy who's making his comeback, Anthony Rumble Johnson, and he said he might do it at heavyweight and he might do it at light heavyweight.
I talked to AJ already. We did a event down in Miami a couple months ago. We had a long talk over a couple drinks. That was after my fights, so we were getting drunk. And he told me he's in the position right now where he gets to like pick who he wants to fight. We already discussed. I'm not on his list. His list is pretty much John Jones, Stipe, DC. One of those 3 guys. So heavyweight or light heavyweight, one of those 3 guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess those fights make. What was that? Go ahead.
I think John Jones, he recently put out a tweet talking about how he wants to do a catch weight at 220. Yep. I think that's for Anthony Johnson.
That was a fight I was so upset about when that fell through. You know, that was a fight, like I was so excited for that. I thought that Rumble was the guy at 205 to take out John Jones.
Best shot. You get the best shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got the touch of death. But I mean, granted, we've seen you've got.
You got some heavy hand. I wouldn't want to. If I did have to fight Anthony Johnson, I'll take him down immediately.
Oh yeah.
Immediately. I'm not even gonna play around.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I'm not near the wrestler, and I'm shooting. Like,
at least getting in the clinch.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like with your style and everything, like I feel like just you'd be able to impose your will, just get your strength behind it, and just wear him out.
That would be the game plan, just to lean on him, be heavy.
Yeah, I feel like I forget who was talking. Chael Sonnen was talking about if you make it out of the first round with Vitor Belfort, that's the most dangerous because I feel like with Rumble Johnson, it's kind of the same thing. That first round,
it's a long round
flying at your head. Like, yeah, that's not a fun fight. But I mean, I was just looking through your record. You have so many second round finishes. You know, I'd always talked about, even just going back to Chael Sonnen, he had talked about how all of his losses, or a lot of his submission losses, were in the second round. And so with you're like takes you down in the first, mauls them, and then you finish them in the second. You know, is that something you've worked on, just like breaking guys first and then finishing them?
Yeah, I bring that from my wrestling background. That's how I used used to get a lot of wins in the second period. I would take you down 4, 5, 6 times in the first. And by then, most heavyweights, there's a few of us like me who are athletic, but high school and college, you get a lot of those sloppy guys. You break them at the, and like you can visually see them break. And I brought that mindset into MMA. Like, I'm gonna grind you down, either through wrestling or just on the feet. Me constantly pressuring you, and when a guy's like this for so long, then he gets to get on the stool, he relaxes, he has to get back up. He's like, shit, I gotta do that again. And guys in their head, they're like, I can't do that again, because it's hard to drill. It's hard to have a camp and like get ready for the pressure I'm bringing.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no one else. You can't bring in a guy. You can bring in a good heavyweight wrestler, but he won't have hands. You can bring in a good heavyweight, but he won't have my wrestling. So it's like it's hard to find a guy to mimic me.
Yeah, I mean, your MMA wrestling is absolutely on par with guys like Daniel Cormier and just the other great wrestlers in the heavyweight division, even light heavyweight division. I don't really see anyone else who stacks up the same way. I honestly,
I could drop a name, Corey Anderson.
Yeah,
I know him. We wrestle. He's only like 2 years older than me. When I was wrestling JUCO, he's wrestling D3. And we wrestled each other. He was a smaller heavyweight, like Alexei Olenek, like 220.
Yeah.
But we had a good match. And right now, I think he has the light heavyweight record for takedowns, I think, at like 50 something. I'm right behind him. I'm at like 45. I'm trying to catch him.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, Corey Anderson's a great wrestler. Actually, listening to him on Rogan, I became a much bigger fan. I watched him on The Ultimate Fighter, and I was like, all right, he's just a wrestler. But then, learning
he works.
About him.
Works.
Oh, yeah, he works. And that's the one thing, working with guys like Mark Henry and, the guys he's working with up there in New Jersey, there's no way he doesn't work hard. And the improvement shown in every single fight.
The only thing about Corey is the jaw. I think he's taking a lot of shots, and it's just he can have all the skill in the world, but sometimes you get touched in that spot. Like it happened to me in Beijing. I was prepared to put it on Ngannou in that fight, and I got touched in that button.
Yep.
Put you out.
I mean, honestly, Francis does that to anybody. If he catches you, I mean, I don't care who you are. If he catches you, it's over.
Yeah, you gotta move your head. You gotta really have good head movement.
Well, and actually, just from what in Francis's last fight against Jorginho, I'd always, even just from my experience level, just knowing when a guy's coming forward, an inside low kick is not the thing you're trying to do.
I don't know what. I think it was a bit of ego. I think when Ngannou, when he rushed him, instead of him taking a lateral angle, he just went back and tried to swing as he's going back. When you swing going backwards, it opens up your jaw, and that's exactly what happened. He threw a hook like this, and it missed. And then Ngannou threw his hook, and his arms are just so long that his don't miss. Like the style he uses is only a style he can use. Like I wouldn't teach anyone else but to strike like Ngannou, because you don't have the arm length, you don't have the power either. Like usually a hook like that, not gonna put you out. But Ngannou's hook, even if it just grazes you, it's enough, I guess.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Ngannou seems to punch a lot like Deontay Wilder.
Yes. It's not how you would teach it, but they're able to generate so much power from those awkward angles.
It's one of those things. Like Freddie Atlas talked about, he's got Thor's hammer with Deontay Wilder, and I mean, Ngannou's got the same thing. Because whenever I'm watching those punches that he's thrown at Jorginho, I've seen the same technique on World Star.
Yeah. And that's what really drives me crazy is when MMA pundits, MMA analysts give him such praise for his terrible technique. I'm like, What do you praise? You can praise the power. I get that. Like it's some crazy power worth praise. But the footwork, like his feet at one point when he was bum rushing Jorginho, he was square. You never want to be square throwing punches.
No.
He was square.
Yeah.
And it works for him, but I'm not going to praise that. Like, that's not good footwork at all.
No, I mean, even just a basic boxing coach would be like screaming at you in practice over that.
Yeah. I would love to watch him hit pads. Like, I wonder how that looks. I wonder.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it'd be loud. I know he hits hard, but I'm like, it'd be crisp and like technical. Would it look aesthetically pleasing? I don't know.
Yeah, it could look like Ronda Rousey hitting pads. Who knows?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you know, and so have you been training with Alistair now?
Yeah, he's been here. He got here 2 months after we fought.
Yeah, I mean, and I heard them talking about that when he fought Jorginho, and honestly, like to me, that was a bad stoppage. I know it was like lip exploded, but he was still there.
He won that fight. Yeah. It was like what?
There was 5 seconds left.
Yeah, you don't stop that. That's what happened in the Henry versus a Cruz fight. You don't stop it with 2 seconds left.
Unless that guy is face first on the canvas. Yeah.
Unless he's asleep.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like, let us go out. I know refs don't want to hear
It's a fight.
It's a fight.
Bro.
Like,
a fight.
If I get
trying to get this money.
Exactly. And like,
trying to get this money.
Actually, just getting into like the whole money thing, like Jorgen De Castro made $12,000.
I know. You know how much I made to fight Mark Hunt? I made $53,000 in a win. He made $850,000 in a loss. And then because it was in Australia, you got to pay international taxes. Australia took $16,000 off the top. And that was before I had to give my striking coach his 5%, my jiu-jitsu coach his 5%, and then my manager his 10%. I walked out of that fight. I got home after paying everybody. I really grossed like $18,000.
That's disgusting.
I grossed like $18,000.
And like, oh my. So whenever going on like contracts, so you said you got locked into like an 8-fight deal, right?
Yeah, that was after that one.
Yeah, and so with the 8-fight deal, I mean, is there any chance for a pay increase? Like if you're accomplished something?
The money goes up each time you win by $10,000.
Okay.
I went from like when I fought Alistair, it was 75 and 75. So then I beat him. When I fought Ngannou, it was 80 and 80, and I lost. So then I fought Big Titty. That was 80 and 80, but I won. So then jumped up to 85 for Abdurahimov. And then I won that one. So the last one was 90 and 90. And now this one will be 95. And I'm hoping to just, after this one, just to tear it up and get a new one.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, Volkov's the perfect guy to go in on that one.
Yeah.
That's a fight you're going to get paid.
I'm trying to get a bonus. That's always the goal, that bonus.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing, like, your game has evolved so much, like, just from the start of your career. Like, your bonus machine now, like, what you did to Alistair, what you did to Junior, like, you're now knocking guys out and finishing, and you're not just going the distance. I mean, granted, you've never really gone the distance, but, like, just, like, the way – the guys you're finishing are, like, very high-level guys, and you're knocking them out too. So that's got to be an amazing feeling, and just, like, the growth in your game.
No, yeah, it feels it to see the growth, not only in the actual fights, but just in the gym. Like, I feel good when I slip, throw a body hook. I'm like, oh shit. 3 years ago, I couldn't slip one. Now I'm slipping two and then adding another counter shot. It feels good to know I have way more tools in my tool belt. I used to just have a hammer. Now I got like 2-3 hammers, 2-3 wrenches, a couple screwdrivers. It feels good.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's evident, man, real evident. So just going back into the heavyweight division, are there any guys that are coming up that really you're like, all right, I might fight him down the line?
The Frenchman, Cyril Gain.
Okay.
He works out with Ngannou actually. He's not a big heavyweight, but he looks like Ngannou, just like a smaller version. He's like 245 and just like ripped, like an 8-pack and all that. And he's got pretty good stand up, but he's French. He can't wrestle. So I know when I get to him, I'm gonna do my normal game plan, use my boxing to get him. Like he'll get up there eventually, but by then I think my game will be so much better that he won't be a problem. But I do believe there's the big difference between like the top 8 heavyweights and then like the rest of the heavyweights. I feel like he's in that top 8 distinction.
Oh yeah. And did you watch UFC 249? I mean, it's the only thing on.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I was going nuts. Who did you have in the main event going into that fight?
Gaethje. He's a part of Elevation. I watched his growth, although he was already very good before he got to us in 2018. Just the patience that he showed in that title fight, that's something he's been preaching for the last 2 years. Ever since he lost to Poirier, he's like, you know what? I gotta bring it down. I can't just walk through punches and just punch with them and hope to win. I gotta be more strategic. I gotta hit and move. And ever since that fight, James Vick, Barboza, Cowboy, he's been more and more patient. But he still has that pressure, but it's not like a crazy berserker pressure. It's more like he's like a lion just like slowly like closing on you instead of just like jumping in.
Oh yeah, I mean the Gaethje fight, I was blown away. I had picked Gaethje like far out. As soon as it got announced, I was like, that's a bad fight for Tony.
And props to Tony for taking that, because he didn't have to.
Yeah. And honestly, like I've loved Justin since watching him in like World Series of Fighting, but damn, my heart breaks for Tony, because that guy, and like he's gotten shafted so many times.
It's just bad timing. It's not anyone's fault. It's not his fault. It's not Gaethje's fault. It's not Habib's fault. It's just bad luck.
Yeah, no one expected the world to shut down.
Yeah, like I thought for sure this would be but I'm happy because now Elevation has a belt, and so I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, geez, that was just a crazy night of fights, and honestly, like, I love that Gaethje got the bonus, but I was so upset Vicente Luque and Nico Price didn't get one.
Yeah, because that was a more back and forth fight. I feel like Gaethje, he owned every round. Like, yeah, he took some hits, but he owned every round. It wasn't like, oh shit, who's winning? Like, we knew Gaethje won round 1, 2, 3, 4. He was on his way to winning. It was gonna be. It was a domination. I'm not trying to take money out his pocket, but if we're gonna do fight of the night, I think he was destroying Ferguson. I think Vicente and Nico was more back and forth.
Yeah, I mean Vicente versus or Luque versus Price, that was just a war. And man, how tough is Tony Ferguson? I mean, God,
that jaw of his that should go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that like the punishment that he took when Gaethje hit him with a left hook in the first round and Ferguson didn't move. I was like, all right, that would have knocked out 99% of the lightweights on the planet, and he took that and just ate that like a cupcake. Like that was.
He's got a hell of a jaw, but I think at a certain point, it becomes like the jaw isn't going to break, but the body is. Like he stopped reacting to stuff. Like he wasn't going out, but his reaction was dropping each round. Each round would get you it went from doing 1 punch to 2 punch combos to 3 punch combos, and by the last round, he was just hauling off with 4 or 5 punch combos, but he wasn't able to react no more.
Yeah, I mean, that last round, you know, actually, I trained with a fighter down here in Texas. I'm at a War Training Center, and there's my buddy Dakota was actually just over in Asia, broke his orbital in a fight that he ended up back and winning, and he was saying that, you know, when Tony started shaking his head, he's like, that was his orbital. He couldn't see.
Oh, that makes sense. He's probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know he wasn't out, and I've been hearing from other people all the bad stoppage. He wasn't out. The referee's job is to prevent unnecessary damage. He would have just gotten his ass beat for the next 2.5, 3 minutes. So it kind of reminds me of the Jorge versus Nate Diaz for the BMF. Like, people were like, "Oh, that was a bad stoppage." Yeah, Nate Diaz wasn't out, but he wasn't going to win that fight. He was going to be tough. He's going to be a badass. He's going to take the damage, but why take the damage? Like, the fight's over.
And, you know, that was one thing just on that fight. I mean, when Diaz is like, "Oh, well, my plan was to turn it up in the later rounds," I'm like,
by then you're dead.
Yeah, I'm like, you're already down 3 rounds. You need to finish. And, like, I don't see – he doesn't have that power to knock out Masvidal.
No. His style is more like mine, but in a different way. It's like attrition. He wears on you. But if he's the one getting worn down, how do you implement your game plan if you're the one taking on the damage?
And whenever he was going up to 170, I was like, all right, well, we saw what happened with Rory McDonald. Like, those guys are just big. They're too big. Yeah. I mean, Nate Diaz, like, he's long and lanky. He's not, you know, there's not a lot of size on him.
No.
And so that was just a tough fight. But, going back to the UFC 249, the way that fight got stopped, I was actually so happy with it. That was a ref saving the fighter from himself.
Yeah, that's a good ref. Herb's a good ref.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just as soon as you see a guy shaking his head, like, to me that goes like, I don't want, like, not even just going, that's enough. Even if it's just subconscious, his body's like, all right, something's not.
Yeah, you don't do that unless you're hurt.
Exactly.
Never ever just. You don't do that unless you're hurt.
Yeah, I remember. So my dad's been my boxing coach since I was a kid, and I remember going into fights early on, and he was like, "The only way you shake your head is up and down."
Yeah.
He's like, "You do not shake it side to side," because he's like, if you get rocked and you go, he's like, the ref will
looks bad. Looks like you don't want to be there no more. And I'm not saying that Tony didn't want to be there. Obviously, he wanted to be there.
Yeah, and I think it was the orbital.
Like the optics. Yeah. But that makes. I didn't even think about that. That makes a lot of sense. I never broken my orbital, so I didn't connect the two.
Yeah, I haven't either. You know, knock on wood. Like, I ain't trying to.
I'm gonna knock on some wood too.
Yeah, yeah, man. No. So who's a guy that is your favorite fighter to watch? Like a fighter's fighter.
Israel Adesanya. I love. Like, he doesn't have a typical MMA style, but I love watching him.
Yeah.
He's the future.
How did you see that fight with Yoel going?
I'm gonna give it to Izzy because neither one of them did a whole lot. At least Izzy was attacking the legs, and he was doing movement, like the optics. It looked like he wanted to. He was aiming. He was looking for stuff, and Yoel's just like this.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna give you points for just standing there like a rock. I'm not going to give you points for that. So it wasn't a good fight at all. I know Izzy, that's not how he fights. It's not the type of performances he likes to put on. We've always seen his fight. That's not how he fights. But when you get to the top, it gets a lot less about entertaining and a lot more just about retaining your belt.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard to get there. It's harder to stay.
Yeah. I'm not mad at him.
Oh, me either. You do what you got to do to win at that level. Like, you know, people that are like, oh, it's not exciting. Like, all right, well, George St. Pierre was like the biggest star ever. And
Exactly.
yeah,
People
like,
forget that. Like it's like after he retired, ESPN and UFC are only showing his highlights of him doing amazing stuff. But I remember when I got into it, when I got into MMA, I watched his last two. I remember the one against Johnny Hendricks. I thought he lost that one. But even before that, like a lot of his fights, he's using wrestling to get position, dominant position, and just little strikes, little. He's not looking to kill guys. He's looking to win and not to take damage, which is smart,
yeah,
but it's not the most exciting. Like,
yeah. And, you know, I'm blown away that he had that style and still got paid. Like,
yeah,
eh,
I mean, I kind of look up to him 'cause I'm like, I want to be like that. I want to be. He never really just talked smack. He was a pure
mhm,
martial artist. He did what he had to do to win fights. If that was to wrestle, he wrestled. If that was to strike, he struck. I want to be like that. I want to
mhm.
do what I have to do to win. I'm not going to be crazy, flashy, spinning elbows. I know fans love that, but like, it ain't your game. It ain't your game. You do what got you here.
Oh yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. Like, obviously, you know, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna take them down and beat them up, and it works. No one's really been able to stop it. Like,
Well, Junior did, but
well, hey,
yeah,
but the wrestling set up the hands.
yeah,
I mean, it's like I was noticing from the first round, you know, his hands were higher, and then as soon as you took him down, he dropped them a little lower. It sets up the hands. He's
yeah.
about the takedown.
That's that's always gonna be the game plan. Like I wanna wrestle you, but if you're gonna commit that much energy to stopping me from taking you down, then yeah, I'm gonna strike. But
Exactly. Yeah.
only if you're committing that much energy to stopping me from wrestling, then I gotta
Mhm.
strike.
Oh, absolutely. You know, so you're not really like a smack talk guy, and
Not really.
no, like I haven't really seen you ever go like, you know, say something off the wall. And you know, how do you feel about like smack talk and MMA? Because like for me,
I,
like I'm not that guy. Like let's just fight. Um,
yeah,
and
I hate it.
hate you. Like that's the thing.
I hate it. I feel like the ever since McGregor got rewarded for all his smack talk, everyone's like, "Oh, that's the way. That's
Hmm.
that's the way to get money." I'm like, "Yeah, that is a way. I don't think that should be the way. I think the way should be for your performance. Like, I don't care how good you smack talk. Can you fight? Like
Hmm.
Derek Lewis, I think he is trash, but he says a lot of goofy shit. People like it and make memes about it, and I guess it's good for the sport because if you're talking about Derek Lewis, then by affiliation you're talking about the UFC. I guess it's
Hmm.
good, but as a fighter, he is not that. He's not really that good. He's his footwork is on par or maybe even slightly worse than Ngannou's. Like neither one of them put the work into becoming legitimate martial artists. They focus on I'm gonna hit you one time hard as I can, and hopefully that puts you to sleep.
Hmm.
And if that don't work, they don't have a plan B. Their plan A is their only plan.
Yep. So you know, I've talked about this with a few other guests. You know, would you consider yourself a martial artist or a cage fighter?
I'm a martial artist. I respect my opponents. I respect the game. And
Hmm.
I know the work I put into it, and I respect my opponent's work that he put into it to get ready for me. And I'm respecting him by putting in the work I put in to get ready for my opponents. So it's just
Hmm.
all about respect. Like at the end of the day, I'm a I'm a competitor. I do enjoy winning, but the winning only feels good because I respect my opponent. Like I know I be the good guy. I be the guy who put all his energy into getting as prepared as he could get. When you win, it feels good to beat that guy. But for me, it's not about the smack talk or the accolades or the likes on Instagram, like all that other stuff. It's about being the best competitor I can be, and doing that, also getting the most of financial gain I can get.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I mean, no, I think the respect's always there. As soon as I've always said, like, I've fought guys and I feel like I know them better than their mom does.
Yeah.
Like it's a really personal thing, and like to fight someone it's interesting. You've got like either a ton of respect for them, or you feel almost cheated that the fight wasn't as tough as you thought it would be.
Well, yeah. Like I definitely respect Ngannou because of our past skirmishes. I respect him because I know that when he beat me, he was a better man that night. So and in him doing that, it's only gonna make me better. It pushes me, and I want to beat him. I know he's good. I want to beat him, not to talk smack, just for me. It'll help me sleep better at night.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like that's the only blemish on your record, and everyone else you've dominated. So like, I absolutely understand the competitor, and you just going like, let's get it back. Like,
Yeah.
Let's keep doing it. Like, well, I'll fight you over and over and over again. Until
I hate watching interviews and people are like, man, he's so scary. I'm like, no, he's not. He's a fighter. Like every fighter's a lion. He's a lion. I'm a lion. What lion is afraid of another lion?
Exactly. And that's one thing that really bothers me, especially about like the regional scene, like where I'm on. Guys want to talk about it, but they don't just want to fight.
Yeah.
And that bugs me. It's the social media cloud. It's all that. That. But it's got to be nice in the UFC where they basically go, "You're fighting this guy then."
Yeah, that's one of the best things about the UFC. Although we've kind of drifted away from it now, because champions are being able to be like, I'm just gonna say F my weight class and I'm gonna bump up and fight this guy. But for the most part, the UFC makes good guys fight other good guys. It ain't like boxing when you get Floyd going against a bum. Like, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch like that you might lose. Because I want to be like, I want to be tense the whole time. I want to be like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yep.
But if it's like, if the matchup isn't good, which happens a lot in boxing, like Deontay Wilder, he's good, but a lot of the guys he beat are not good. So it's like that. It's like, I want to see you prove you deserve all these accolades. I want to see you prove that you're the best. Like every fighter in the UFC that's ranked top 5 has earned it, has proven they belong there. And that's one thing about the UFC I've always liked.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. So one thing I do think that MMA could learn from boxing is the way that they bring some guys up. And so with MMA, you're kind of just thrown into the lions oftentimes right off the bat. But do you think that, it's beneficial to have a few, like, not, set up fights or anything like that?
No, but like there's levels. You go from like a C minus guy to a B minus guy, and you go to those elite guys. I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so, like the way that they do it in boxing, like I've heard Rogan talk about this ad nauseum, just having, like, you're like, all right, you're real good everywhere, but we're going to have you fight a guy who's going to push you on the inside a little more, or like, things like that. So building them up slow. Like, do you think that MMA, if they took like that kind of approach, we would see fighters grow more? Because, you take a young fighter, you throw him in there with you, that could kill his confidence, that could kill his career, and honestly, you might break his face. Like,
I think the UFC at this time, they're not in a position to slowly push guys. I think you can do that in boxing because it's a firmly established sport. Like, they don't need stars because there's not a lot of stars in boxing, but it's still thriving. MMA at this point, in order to get eyes, we need stars. So they're trying to turn so many guys into stars by just go out there and beat that guy and you're a star. And like, it ain't the best formula, but when it works, it works. When you get a guy like Izzy, you toss him in there with a guy and he kicks his ass, and you're like, okay, you're real. Or like, had I beat Ngannou in my opening debut fight, that was a hard matchup. But had I beat him, I'm a star now. So it's got pros and cons. Like, it's easier to become a star in MMA. It's also easier to lose that star push. So it's good and bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, like, just the last, I don't want to keep you too long. So, like, the last thing I got for you, you know, do you think that the guys who are these social media stars are getting, like, preferential treatment in terms of, like, easier fights? You know, like McGregor on the way up didn't fight a wrestler just, like, at all.
Yeah, because they don't want him to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Because they know he's a star, but they're like, stars can lose. Is styles make matchups. So you give him a guy. Had you given him, let me see, who's a great wrestler at 145 early?
Well, I mean, honestly, I even think Chad Mendez on a full camp would have been a nice.
Yeah. Had you given him Chad, like, right after he beat Max Holloway, I think Chad wins, and now all that promotional push goes away. The UFC doesn't want to do it. It did it to Izzy also. I just brought up it. It didn't give Izzy like a real grappler until Brunson. I think had they given Izzy Jacare, like right after he beat Vettori, I don't know. I think Jacare wins that fight. He's just more experienced, and he knows what he has to do. He knows he gets Izzy on the ground. There's no way Izzy's getting up. But they do that for different guys, like Rob Whittaker, for instance. He had a hard road. They didn't do him no favors. He had to go to the gauntlet. He beat Jacare. He had to fight twice. Like, they made him jump through all the hoops. It's just he's not the star that the UFC is looking for. They're not gonna protect him. He doesn't have that voice. They're not gonna protect him like that.
Yeah, and I mean, Robert Whittaker, like, I loved him. I mean, just the way he fights, and then, like, the hate he got after losing to Izzy, and just, like...
That's great. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's ever talked about him is like, nah, he's a great guy, like, super humble. And, I mean, honestly, like, I kind of feel like just on your own career, like, you're not the brash, talk shit, like, you're not that guy. So, obviously, like, they're not going to give you a safe fight.
Nope. That's okay, because, you know, every time they give me a hard opponent, I just get to go out there and prove that I'm right. I'm the best.
Yeah, and, you know, just some closing remarks, you know, you want the Volkov fight, any idea, like, when that's going to get rescheduled, or?
From talking to my manager over the last week and a half, he says that I've also been interested. I'm like, what's going on? He told me June 20th is the date still, but they don't have a venue. It might be at the Apex in Vegas, or if everything in Jacksonville continues to work out, they'll do it in Jacksonville. Either way, as long as I get to fight.
Oh, absolutely, man. So, guys, this has been another episode of the Unqualified MMA podcast. Big thanks to Curtis Blaydes for coming on. Curtis, where can people follow you on social media? You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at RazorBlades265. RazorBlades265. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up.